That cover it?
Anybody else have any conversation?
I have a question, and I'm going to confess to a little bit of confusion because you're on the interview list, and there wasn't an application in the packet, and you weren't put on the ballot list.
Just write her in.
Sure. So anyway.
No, what I said was, I did
wondering
fill out an
what were your
application to get
intentions?
on, and if staying on meant filling out an application, you could let me go.
Okay.
But when I got the call, I was told to be here at this time, but I wasn't told it was for an interview.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
was told to be
We're
here.
talking.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a conversation. The one thing that I want to know is if you are, in fact, interested in continuing, or if there was...
If you feel there is a need for me, I will continue.
So
If you
that's
have-
a
if you're-
yes. You are looking to continue. Okay.
Well, I won't if you've got plenty of other people who want to serve.
Well, there are, we do have 3 other applicants, and there are 3 seats that are up. So I guess that asks the question. But I think that you also have been doing a sterling job, so I guess that we'll be considering
That
all
her answer
4 of
was
the
yes.
applicants. So her answer was yes.
Her answer was yes.
Okay.
But there won't
That
be no pay
clarifies it.
increase.
Yeah, there
No,
won't be.
I insist we double her pay.
Twice nothing is nothing.
Yes. It will have no budget impact.
So, Lorraine, we want to thank you for coming down to have this conversation.
Yes, and for 40
uh,
years of amazing service.
And so we will try to figure out what we think the best thing is to do, and so we'll see how it works out.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks, Lorraine.
I have a question for us, our staff, or whatever. Are we going to try and get Joe back here then next time, so our ballot tonight won't be final, in other words?
Yes, we will find out Joe's issue, if he indeed has a new addition to his family, and then we'll have him either next Monday or likely on the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah,
So before you make your vote.
At the last planning commission meeting, he was sort of tossing up whether or not it was going to be advisable to try to defer this because of some uncertainties as to how things were going to be proceeding and that. And I can certainly understand, since it was not all that long ago that I was in very similar circumstances.
Who's up next?
Well, we have one left, Christine Novak.
We could actually congratulate Joe and his family over the air on the assumption that...
Go ahead, then.
Congratulations, Joe and
And associates.
and associates.
All right, we're going to go through and he's asked 2 questions again, or are we going to do Police Civil Service Commission questions first and then? Betsy, it seems kind of dumb to
We
me
should
that...
do 2 questions each. That's what we did. a week
I know,
ago,
but it
right?
seems dumb to bounce from one to the other, which I think we should go through twice instead.
Oh,
Hi.
Go through twice? Okay.
Don't mind us, we're just holding conversations amongst ourselves.
Feel free.
It's a workshop.
And we're
kind
trying to
of
figure
informal.
ourselves out.
And so, how are you this evening?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Staying dry in here?
Not that we need or want you to comment, but apparently you had some issues last time around.
I did. I had a family emergency last week, and
Hopefully that's worked out as well as it can.
it is. It was my nephew. I appreciate that.
All right.
And in that being said, I just thought it was this Monday, so I appreciate you making time for me today.
Yeah, well, we want to
Very glad that you.
we want to hear from people.
Thank you.
So, so we were just kind of discussing, and the little bit of discussion and dilemma that we have is that you had signed up for a couple of different potential commissions.
Yes.
And so the way we had been proceeding back at the other meeting when the emergency happened was that we had kind of a variety of questions in essentially making one interview for all the commissions that you were interested in versus tonight, most everyone has kind of been for one commission, and so we've just been kind of concentrating on whatever one they're interested in.
Okay.
And so I think that we would be best off to really kind of stick with the format we had before, which is a little bit lengthy, and the problem is that you go from a question about police civil service to one about business, and so you have to be on your toes more and kind of, be ready to answer a question on all areas.
Okay, let's do it.
But that's what we did for the other people, and so I think it's
Dumb then,
appropriate.
it's dumb now.
Kathy doesn't like it very much.
Can you tell?
Put the hat on, and say, Business and Economic Development Commission.
Yes, well, that is what we're going to do.
I know, but it's
Because
still dumb.
Kathy doesn't like it, but we're going to
No,
do
she
that
doesn't.
anyway. And so we have the questions that we had from the first time around, right?
Yes.
And well, at least I do.
All right.
And so, excuse us, Christine, while we get ourselves organized.
That is fine.
And so, Christine has the Business and Economic Development Commission, and in that, we had 4 questions. 2 of them were Jim's, actually. The first one, number 1 and number 3 were Jim. Number 2 number 2 was Kathy. Number 4 was Marv. All right? And then in the Police Civil Service, we had Kathy's number 1, John is number 2, Marv is number 3, me is number 4. And we had a couple of general questions in there also. John was number 1 in the generals, and I was number 4. And so I think that would make up the 10 questions. Everybody agree? Good, here we go.
No, but there's no point in disagreeing.
So, we have a couple general questions first. John has the first one, which is number 1 of the general questions.
Hi.
Following along.
Hi.
As commanded, I will ask you, what motivated you to apply for a commission position?
I have the need to be involved. Recently, last summer, I had spoke in front of the commission. They were attempting to put a dog park in my area, and I got up and I spoke, and I think that really lit a fire under me, because also in doing so, I had gone door to door in my neighborhood to start a petition and just kind of really uncover how my residents and my local residents and neighbors felt about that. And getting involved in that process really made me feel like I had a valid opinion about several different topics, and more so was interested in getting to know the process and learning more about getting involved personally.
Thank you.
You're not one of those activist people, are you?
Not at all, not at all. On a personal level, I continue to seek different education and avenues for education and outlets in my own personal life to challenge myself, and I think that this is something that can better my family as well as my neighbors by getting involved. But no, I'm not an activist for any specific topic at all.
All right. Well, and that, of course, was a little tongue-in-cheek, because Madam Activist is over here on my left. But
I own a dog.
here's the actual question that I have.
Yes.
And it kind of fits in with what your little story was that you shared with us. So how would you react if you felt strongly about what a commission should be recommending to the council, and you were in the minority, or perhaps the only member opposed to the views of the rest of the body?
So I guess it would depend on how the information is presented to the council. I can relate it to just kind of trying to think, obviously when you go through that type of process and you're not all of like mind, that's why you choose a commission, so that not everybody has the same opinion and you work out your differences amongst yourselves. It would depend on the weight of the decision and the information presented to the council. In the event that I strongly felt that my opinion needed to be heard, I would go through the proper channels to ensure that that was, in a respectful manner, presented to the city council in the event it would make a difference.
Okay, and so are you thinking of requesting that in the report to the council that it includes a minority opinion? Or?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Very good. So let's see, that moves us down to your first question. Jim Lannis, Councilmember Lannis, is not here. He's driving back from Duluth. It's obviously not a good night for doing that. And so we hired another Jim to read his questions.
Thank you.
Do you have any background in, this is a BEDC, Business Economic Development Commission question. Do you have any background in public funding opportunities, grants, revolving loan programs, or other funding methods for assisting businesses?
I'm a commercial lender by trade. I have been so since 2005. So on a daily basis, I do work with business clients for their various requests. I also take an active role in many of our local communities to kind of get a better understanding of what it is our business clientele is looking for. I'm also the secretary of the PCU Community Foundation, and that foundation supports our local communities in striving for a stronger financial literacy within our communities. So I think that I fit well in that category because of my experience. I do, where I'm currently employed, we have a team of 3 individuals, and we facilitate transactions on a daily basis, I'd say, for about 2,500 local businesses, and we do have 5 various branches in many communities, but...
Thank you.
Thanks.
So now we're going to police civil service, me? Is that how we're doing this? Or?
No, you're number 2.
Number 2
in the
of
business
busy?
and
Okay,
economics.
I'm confused. Okay, we get to stay in the BEDC category. This is good. 2 in a
Okay.
row. What do you think the City of Maplewood's goal should be to get more involved in economic development? And your background obviously has something to do with this. And what do you actually think our role should be in either development or redevelopment?
I think closing the gap between consumer or local residents and the small business clients in this current economic time that we're experiencing, the needs of the small business has changed dramatically, and there are ways that we could support our local establishments to ensure that they are going to thrive, because in the community, that is the foundation, I believe, is a small business, because that creates jobs, and it's just a circle.
How about in redevelopment as well as development? What do you think see the city's role as being from your viewpoint?
You know, overall, I think that we'd probably take a look at a few different items that would make the city of Maplewood more attractive over our other local communities that we border, and see if we can't focus on attracting diverse kinds of businesses into our market.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Still staying in the Business and Economic Development Commission questions, how can the City of Maplewood work to better assist existing businesses, attract new businesses, and market the city as a premier business location?
You know, I think that networking and getting to know the needs of the small businesses and putting those in front of the clients that they need to reach, and kind of bridging that gap, whether the city decides to support some type of networking group, or, you know, just even offering a facility such as the Maplewood Community Center for individuals to meet and greet and understand what one person needs another may have to offer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any specific locations in Maplewood you would like to see the city work proactively to encourage redevelopment?
That's a pretty broad question. I'm just running through the city in my mind right about now. Off the top of my head, I cannot draw a specific area in Maplewood that is lacking.
As a follow-up to that, and without actually, divulging where you live, but in what general area of the city do you live in?
I could walk to my house from here.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then you work at the credit union?
Yes, in North St. Paul.
Oh, in North St. Paul. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
right in front of Target.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
forgive her that.
Yeah, everybody has slips.
Oh.
To give you an example, is if you drive around the city, if you go down Rice Street, you're going to see vacant the property there that, if it was put in one track, it could be developed into an industrial park, for example.
So you have to drive down Rice Street in order to observe that.